Hey guy, I'm Tyler. Welcome to the info channel, and today I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know about the Ruby Life Pools Mythic Plus dungeon in Dragonflight. Now let's get into it. Full spoilers ahead, I am going to be talking about the abilities of the trash pack monsters and the bosses. Now, the beginning area of this dungeon does have a lot of trash mobs, so make sure you don't pull too much. The Primal Juggernaut puts down swirly circles and pools that if you stand on them, you will take tons of damage. There are also Earthshapers in this pack that cast Tectonic Slam. This needs to be stunned or interrupted anytime it comes up. Also in this room, there are whelp eggs in the corners. If you run over the eggs, it will spawn the whelps, and they will cast Primal Chill. This is a stacking debuff, and if it gets to 8, you will be stunned. At the end of the hall, there is a Dragonkin mini-boss. He will hit your tank very, very hard. He puts swirlies on the ground that you need to avoid, and he does a frontal charge, so make sure you're not standing in it. The first boss you encounter is Meldrusa Chillworn. She has heavy AoE damage, but mechanically, she is pretty simple. Once you start the fight, spikes of ice will spawn under your feet. Move out of it, but try to keep them together as much as possible to save room. Next ability she does is Chill Storm. She'll put this on one player. That player needs to run away from the group. Once it drops, there'll be a puddle on the ground that tries to pull everyone towards that puddle. And obviously, you want to stay away from that puddle. 2 times during the fight, she will summon whelps to come help her. These are going to be the same whelps from the room earlier, so they still have that primal chill. So DPS them down as fast as possible. Lastly, the boss will cast Frost Overload. This will place a shield on the boss that you will need to damage to break. Until it is broken, it will do constant AoE damage to your whole party. So make sure that is your top priority. If you're enjoying the info, make sure you like and subscribe. Once you finish that boss fight, make sure you click on the dragon to fly up to the next section. This is where you can choose to go left or right. We're going to go left to fight the next mini-boss, Thunderhead. If you don't do Thunderhead first, he'll fly around and jump on you whenever he wants to. Now, once you engage him, his main attack is a frontal lightning cone, so be wary. His main mechanic you're going to be dealing with is called Rolling Thunder. This places out 2 debuffs that, when dispelled, does massive party damage. So make sure once you dispel one, you have some cooldowns ready, and then dispel the next one once everyone's health is back up and ready. In order to unlock the second boss, you're going to need to go around the circle and kill all the Blaze-bound destroyers. Now there's 4 Blaze-bound destroyers in total that you need to kill. Anytime you kill a single one, they will implode into a big circle. If you are in the circle, once the timer's done, you'll more likely be dead. Next, the most notable thing you need to worry about in these trash packs is Flame Dance. This is cast from the Flame Dancers. This is very similar to the Tectonic Slam from earlier. If you do not interrupt this or stun, this will do massive fire damage to everyone in your party. Now on the right side of the circle, you'll come against another dragon called Flame Goulet. This dragon isn't too scary, as he'll only do his frontal cone while he's above 50% health. Once you get him below 50% health, he will do a pulsing fire damage to everyone in the party, so make sure you burn him down as fast as you can. With that, if you pull him on accident, you can ignore him and kill everything else because he'll only do damage once he's below 50% health. The second real boss you encounter is Kokia Blazehoof. First mechanic you have to deal with is she spawns an elemental on a ranged player. So if you are a ranged player, make sure you're choosing good locations for the elemental to spawn because it does not move. Once spawned, this elemental needs to be kicked when they are doing Rearing Blaze. Otherwise, fire AoE damage to everyone in your party. Lastly, Blazehoof will roll out a boulder of meteor that will leave fire patches all over the ground, so make sure you are trying to aim those in the right way to give yourself some room. Keep in mind when you're fighting Blazehoof that the boss room is actually pretty big, and she will not reset when you're pulling her pretty far from her start point. Now, the next area is guarded by several caster mini-bosses. Now, on these mini-bosses, the main thing you're worried about is Lightning Storm. This is a constant pulsing lightning damage to everyone in your party. You're going to have to use those defensive cooldowns. There's no way around it. These guys hurt. And lastly, right before the boss, we have 3 lightning channelers and 2 flame channelers. The flame channelers are what you're going to be worrying about. They have an ability called Fire Flash. Make sure you're kicking it and AoEing everything else down. The third and final boss is Kairaka and Urquhart Stormvane. Now, this is a 2-boss fight, but once you get one of them to 50%, the guy jumps on the back of the dragon, and that's when phase 2 begins. For the dragon, he will be casting an ability called Inferno Core. During phase 1, it'll be placed on one person. Once it expires, it gets placed on the floor, and there'll be lava. Move out of the lava. During phase 2, Inferno Core will be placed on everyone in your party, so everyone will be dropping a plate of magma on the floor. Make sure you're moving out and you're wary of everyone else's plates. For the guy, Stormvane, he'll be using an ability called Storm Slam. This goes on the tank and it needs to be dispelled pretty frequently. And for his second ability, he has Interrupting Cloudburst. That does light AoE damage to the party, but it also interrupts any spellcast. This is a pretty healing intensive fight, but once you get all the dispels and the puddles in place, you kill that dragon and you only have to fight the guy, Stormvane. It is a quick and simple fight and you'll be done before you know it. And that was Ruby Life Pool's Mythic Plus dungeon. Now make sure you comment below what dungeon guide you would like to see next. I hope the video helped you out, and I'll see you next time.